Would you like to play an action roguelike bullet hell game that gives you RSI? Oh yes, welcome to Cursorblade. I mean this in jest, but Cursorblade does something that I think is well deserved for the action roguelike genre. Too many of these games are auto-playing and you just kind of move around very, very passively. Cursorblade puts your mouse as the blade that does the main base attack. And so what you'll be doing after choosing your blade is to wiggle your mouse around the screen to try and slash over all of the different enemies to trigger your main basic attack. You will also have access after each wave of enemies to up to 6 weapons to choose from a variety of about 12 or 13. And a lot of those are either things that will streak off the back of wherever your mouse has been before and your cursor blade has been before, so like a lava attack. Or there'll be things like cactuses that will spin around the edge of your cursor blade. Or they might be things that are much more area of attacky. So things like missiles coming in from afar, there's a saw blade that will fly off somewhere. You can have it so that enemies will turn into ghosts and attack other enemies. Or it could be that you've got the porcupine spike effect, so that when an enemy dies it explodes into spikes and causes problems elsewhere. A lot of these though are tied to where your cursor is on the screen. So it puts you much more in active control of an action roguelike auto shooter game compared to so many other ones that are out there, and that plus its cute aesthetic makes it a unique entry, I guess, into the action roguelike auto shooting genre. Lots of words there, lots of buzzwords, but it all makes sense to me. This game follows the same roguelike formula as well, of being able to attack everyone, dodge all of their attacks back, and then once you get through a wave of enemies, you choose an upgrade and rinse and repeat until things come to an end. The thing with Cursorblade, and I guess the kind of downside to this, is that whilst the aesthetic is lovely and great, and it does feel like genuinely more involving to be like throwing your mouse around on the screen. And that's what I mean by RSI, because you're constantly like going around in a circle to avoid enemy fires, so it's almost like you're rotating your wrist, going around like as if you're some kind of like very royal waving queen going woohoo as you're trying to avoid everything that's going on. What it does lack in this game is like mini bosses, or an end goal or end point. You just keep going until you die. And so whilst that's great for you getting a high score, and score gets turned into points, and points unlocks different cursor blades that have a different unique style, but also a different secondary kind of passive ability. Those passive abilities are so negligible, and I didn't even notice them actually working or taking place, that it just felt like I was unlocking new blades for the sake of it. And so this game, whilst it feels much more active to play, feels much more passive and aimless because there is no end goal to work towards. It's just keep going until you die. But the problem with that is that there isn't like a Steam leaderboard or an online leaderboard or anything like that to then make you want to come back for anything more. And so if Cursorblade is to get any kind of upgrades later on down the line, online leaderboards, an end boss or an end goal or something like that to work towards would be great, because I think the concept here is lovely, the graphics are cute, and this does feel different to a lot of the action roguelikes that are out there, but it just dissolves into, okay, I've done a run with all of these and I've got the Steam achievements and I can do them quite quickly. Like, I'd done all of this in about 2 hours and I wasn't really trying. So, interesting aesthetic, great gameplay mechanic, just needs fleshing out a bit more before I would give this like a full recommend, if that makes sense. But if you like what you see and you like action roguelikes, Cursorblade is out now, and it's pretty damn cheap too. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane-network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.